I feel like that's like the same thing as being like, oh, like God doesn't like restrict like me. I don't know, doing some like horrible shit that I don't want to say on a, on this like live, but like
Yeah, yeah.
that
Give
is
me any reason why any law should exist under your worldview. Seriously.
give me and what do you mean under my
Yeah,
worldview?
give me any reason under your worldview why there should be a law that restricts people from doing stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
you kind of got me speechless there for sure.
Mm-hmm. Seriously, because you're not going to say every sin should be illegal, because then Trump should be in prison for adultery.
Yeah, no, okay. Actually, sorry. Now I get the grounds of your point. My bad. I was not getting it before. Sorry. Um, but yeah, okay. I get what you're saying there. But like, I don't know. At the same time, like, I feel like since like, I guess like it's right. Like my points are kind of grounded by religion, but at the same time, it's like I feel like if there's like a chance that somebody could like that a fetus could become a life, I don't think you should cut that off.
That a
Like even if
fetus
it's like,
could become a life? Oh my Jesus Christ, Anthony! It's
well,
a
I'm
life
sorry.
at
Hold on. Yeah,
it's
yeah,
a
yeah,
life at,
yeah,
it's a
yeah,
life at conception. At the point in which it's a fetus, right?
yeah, yeah.
It. What do you mean it can be a life? It already is a point in which it's alive, unless it's a dead fetus.
Can you stop eating your mic?
Sorry. My is this good here?
Yeah.
Sorry. No, I just
Tyler,
feel
thank
like
you for
like
$2. Thank you so much. Oh, that's
I feel
someone
like
said. Have you seen the Trump clone? That's cringe. Amy, thank you so much for the dollar.
my bad, bro. Everybody's saying my mic is close. But I just think that like people shouldn't like just the abandonment of what could become like a baby. I feel like that should be taken more seriously in today's world. Like I feel like people are just having abortions. It's way more of just like a
Michelle,
I
thank
don't
you for
want to
the
be.
$20
Oh,
donation on Venmo saying that women shouldn't have to experience that trauma to have access. Oh, wait. Women shouldn't have to experience trauma to have access to abortion. Dead ass, Michelle. I appreciate you so
well,
much
no,
for the love.
that's low key my point though, to be honest. Because like if you're like actually going out having consensual sex, like obviously sex is a means to have a kid. So it's like you know the risk when you're doing it. To then be like, oh well, now I have a human life, what could become an actual baby, and I'm just gonna abort it because I kind of don't feel like it. It's like I don't really fuck with that, to be honest.
Okay. Do you fuck with like cigarette smokers going into the doctor's office and getting chemotherapy to terminate the life of the lung cancer,
I
even
don't
though
think they should
they
smoke.
knew,
I don't think
acknowledged, and accepted that risk?
I don't think people should smoke cigarettes. No.
Sure.
He
Yeah,
didn't understand that. He didn't understand the point.
well, I mean, it's a fine
Maybe
point to
hold
bring up.
on,
Is
go
you,
ahead. Say it
you
again. Say it
didn't.
again. Say it again.
Well, you didn't
My
understand the
bad.
point, but I wanted to play off of that too. Yeah, like I'd say that people shouldn't smoke cigarettes, just like I'd say that people shouldn't engage in unsafe sex. But if someone does smoke a cigarette, they should have access to lung cancer, given that they get
I
lung
feel like
cancer,
that's
and even
different
if
when it comes to. Yeah, I get what you're saying. My bad. You want to continue? I'm sorry.
no, it's fine.
Okay. I get what you're saying, but at the same time, it's like you're playing with your own life at that point. You're like cigarettes is like it's only affecting you. I
Yeah,
mean, there's
but if
pregnancy
someone
risks with
smoke
cigarettes,
but
so.
if someone smokes a cigarette and gets lung
Well, hold
cancer,
on, hold on, hold on. I was talking low key, but no, it's just the way that
Really?
like cigarettes is
High
like your
key.
own life. So, um, sorry, that low key caught me off guard, but sorry. No, it's just the thing about cigarettes is like you're messing with your own life. I feel like if you like go around like fuck around and have a kid, like you're fucking with somebody else's life.
well, I
So
mean
I
that's
think
fine,
those
but
are
that's a
two
completely
completely
different.
different things.
Well, no, that's a
Yeah, they're
completely
two
different
different
argument.
things.
That's a completely different argument, sir. Right? Because when you posit the argument that the reason that you think that abortion is wrong is because the mother's obligated to sustain her pregnancy, given that she consented to the sex, right? Well, I mean that point alone is disputed, given like my analogy to the cigarette smoker, right? But in response to this analogy, you just brought up the fact that well, it's two separate, distinct lives, and the fetus is more
Well,
valuable.
yeah, that's
Which it
well, yeah,
stop,
exactly,
stop,
exactly.
stop. Which is a fine counter response. However, you're no longer making the same argument. You're making a completely separate and distinct argument, right? And I'd say that no, the life of a fetus does not have moral value. I don't think that the life of a fetus gains moral value until it gains the ability to deploy consciousness at about 20 weeks gestation. And before then, I don't care about it.
Jen, thank you so much for the $3. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And Faith,
So
thank
I
you for the
mean,
dollar. Happy
you're
happy
saying
birthday to you, Faith.
so you're saying that when a fetus, you said, displays consciousness.
Yeah, so about 20 weeks with the thermocortical connections, as soon as it has a capacity to deploy low levels of sentience, I attribute it moral value.
Well, to me, like I feel like something has more value when it's actually like whenever at conception you have the ability to have something made in the complete image and likeness of, I know, God, I know, but I
I
feel
don't
like
think that you should
right
be using
there.
your religion to draft legislation. You know that slave owners in America did that in the 19th
Oh,
century with other
isn't like the
verses from their same book.
Constitution, isn't the Constitution based on a lot of religious values though?
Name one article found within our Constitution that directly references, the Christian Bible.
Well, it says under God like the whole time though.
It actually doesn't. It says God nowhere in the Constitution.
Oh,
You're going to be
I
referencing the Pledge of Allegiance, which was made in the 50s.
okay, I oh that's a good point then. But I do feel like that our
But I'm
founding
going to go back
fathers
to what
had
I
a
was
very
saying.
strong.
I
Oh,
actually don't.
you got it.
Yeah, because you had interrupted me and did not allow me to finish my argument.
My bad,
Um,
my bad.
No worries. So yeah, what I'd say is I actually don't think that you should be drafting legislation on the basis of your Christian values. I think it's inherently fine for you to be a Christian and to practice your faith and to have hope
Mm.
in a greater glory of God, right? But as soon as you kind of step out of boundaries from the symbolization of peace and love that gives you like dignity, self-respect, respect for others, and happiness for an everlasting life, and it bleeds into the area of you wanting to take these unprecedented, inherently faith-based beliefs that you don't really have any evidence to justify at the end of the day, to take rights away from others, that's where it gets really muddy. Because
Are
I mean,
you?
let's face the facts. At the end of the day, you can't prove that Christianity is true. I've debated theism, Christianity specifically forever. There's no argument for it. In fact, there's plenty arguments against it. The only thing
Well,
that
there's
you have
some
to
philosophical
justify,
arguments that.
no, there's
Give,
not a
give me one.
single.
Actually, give me one.
There's not a single sound philosophical argument to instantiate the existence of the Christian God. Right? It's an inherently faith-based belief system. But the point that I wanted to make before you give Parker one of these philosophical arguments, right, is that this is the same thought process of slave owners. Right? So they use Leviticus 25, found within the Christian Bible, to justify enslaving black people. Right? To take rights away from them, which is exactly what you are attempting to do now with the rights of a woman. Right? I think that in order for you to advocate for any system of policy in America today, especially those in which would infringe upon the rights of others, it is impertinent for you to do so from a secular perspective, not from a quote-unquote religious perspective, when in all reality, that's just a glorified emotionally driven thought that has no evidence. Once again, not dissing on people that are
You're fine.
Christian. Just
I don't know. I don't think you're dissing. I don't think you're dissing at all. I don't take it as dissing. It's just your, your opinion, your view. You shouldn't really judge people for that. But I feel like you said that yeah, I feel like there's a big difference between like what the Bible's actually saying and then people kind of using it to, the cruelties and kind of the vices of man. I feel like,
Buddy,
like
it's actually more
oh,
explicitly accepting of slave ownership than abortion being wrong. There's not a
oh,
verse in the Bible that says abortion is wrong, but there is a verse in the Bible that says slavery is good.
what
There
does it
actually
say?
isn't. There is a verse in the Bible that says that you should get abortions in the context of a woman cheating on her husband, right? So in the
Well, that's
context of
not what
adultery and getting
I don't
pregnant.
think that's yeah. Well, I guess that's a far point. What does it say about like slavery though? Out of curiosity.
Yeah, Leviticus 25 verses 44 through 46 state that like God thinks that you can own slaves, and then he describes how you should own slaves. So like not only does it say that slavery is a good thing, but it
God says
tells you,
that?
yeah,
Yeah,
God
Damn,
says you
that's
can't own slaves.
crazy. That's
A-
crazy.
Anthony, I can give you a lot of. I can show you where God commands killing people, right? Mass people like men, women, children, and infants. God saying it's okay to beat
Well,
people who are your slaves as long
well,
as they
not before I
recover
give
after a
you,
day or two.
well, not before I give you my philosophical argument as to why God exists, though. Let's low key do that first, low key. But now there's just this thing that I was in philosophy class, and it was like essentially just the chances at this world being created with the ability to actually sustain life is so slim. It's like if you're in the middle of a hurricane, you have to shoot a bow and arrow like across a highway with a bunch of moving cars. Like that needs to be done first try, but that needs to be done first try like thousands of times like in a row. So like just the whole idea that this is so crazy that we all exist and that we all have conscious minds that are capable of deciphering right and wrong. It just kind of makes common sense to a lot of people that it's just a test to see whether your soul is like, built for heaven or hell, pretty much. Did you guys fuck with that or no?
I didn't get your point, honestly. You want to
No.
restate
Well,
it?
well, it's like, yeah, I always did it. It's like essentially that it's such a low probability that the way that life is held and created on like Earth and like the universe, it's like so very slim that
Right, or
the
you're saying
amount.
fine tuning argument. So,
Yeah,
did
yeah,
you know
literally the
that?
fine
Did you
tuning
know that
argument.
you can run the fine tuning argument back on the Christian because God's desires have to be in such a way in which He creates humans rather than creating like a world of pencils or a world of water bottles or a world of shoelaces only,
I don't
right?
understand how
Like
that's bad.
what? No, I'm saying that like why would you say that
How,
it's more probable that he picks one world over the other one? Well, you're going to be assuming a certain set of necessary and sufficient qualities to produce human beings, right?
I feel like in you considering that argument, you're kind of going back on your point that God doesn't exist if you're creating a counter off the fact that God did create this.
What? You're not understanding. What?
Well, I
How am
mean,
I going
yes.
back on that? What I'm saying is that you can run it back on the Christian because under their own worldview, right? You
Okay.
would specifically critique the fact that God had to have the particular desires to produce this reality rather than a different reality. In the same way
Okay.
that you're saying the nature, right, produced this reality where it happens this
Right.
way rather than happening a different way. I can just say the same thing is
Yeah.
also applicable to your view because of God's desires.
What, that it's not
Okay, dude.
that
I'm
it's not
sorry,
special?
Anthony. Jeez.
Yeah. Thanks for working with me though. I appreciate that.
There's a certain set of conditions that exist in nature that produce the world that we live in now. You're saying that's a low
Yeah,
probability for those conditions to exist in order for us to be able to get to this position. One, I could ask
I'm
you
with you.
how you question that probability. Two, I can run it back on you and say specifically, okay, why did God have the desires to produce this reality rather than the desires to produce a totally different reality?
Oh yeah, I wouldn't know why. No, I wouldn't know why.
Exactly. So like the fine tuning argument also, right, is a problem for the theist.
Mm.
Does that make
Okay, yeah,
sense?
just because he could have made like another reality kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. He could have chose differently. He has free will.
Well, I mean, yeah, he does have free will, but I feel like the fact that he made it the way that he did kind of makes it special, no?
You can say whatever you want, but that it would be the same under both
Mm.
views. You're not actually
Hmm.
giving an argument for why it's more justified for a theist god to exist. What you just brought up makes it the same probability, right? Not taking into account any other argument.
Right. Okay. We could always talk about the Kamala picture with like the grandmother. I thought that that was pretty
Kamala,
interesting.
Kamala,
I'm so sorry, dude. I'm so sorry. I actually
And
just forgot.
and like what?
oh,
What do you mean?
I know what
It
he's
was
referring
like
to. I heard about it
before.
for the first
Yeah,
time today. So
yeah.
what's your stance? Do you buy into the misinformation?
No, no. I don't. Okay, I don't. Hold on. I don't buy into it, but I do feel like Miss Harris does kind of like display different personalities when it comes to which
No, the whole
voter
thing about the
demographic she's
picture with
appealing to.
stop. The whole thing about the picture with the
Oh,
grandma is
it
Candace
was
Owens
false.
saying that her grandma was dead right before
Yeah.
that picture was taken. Her
Mhm.
grandma died in 1995 and she was
She was
born
born
in
in '63.
1963.
Yeah. No, no, no. I know. I'm not saying that that was like not her grandmother. Like I'm not debating that. What I am saying though is that the only reason that people would find that to be offensive or to find that maybe that actually isn't a
A picture
grandmother
of a
is just
woman with her grandma?
yeah, yeah. Well, no, it's not like obviously it's not offensive, but like I'm saying the only reason that it raised or could have raised a red flag is because I feel like she does kind of change herself to whatever voter demographic she's
You
appealing to.
sound chronically
So
online. Dude, literally, look at yourself through a third person perspective. You're looking at a
okay.
picture of a woman with your grandma, and you're like, different things with different demographics in different places at different
Well, hold on.
times.
Just hear me. Just hear me. Just hear me. You're not getting my
What
point,
the
bro.
fuck?
Hold on. Just hear me out. Hear me out,
There's no
please.
point to be made. It's a
Hold
picture of a
on,
woman
bro.
with her grandma.
You're right. You're completely right. Like that really shouldn't be taken into like any sort of derogatory way. And I agree with that. I agree with that. What I am saying though, what I am saying though is that like she does change herself depending on what voter demographic she's talking to,
How
which
does
would
this
like
relate to a picture of her other grandma?
because her grandmother's black in the photo, no? Like
Her
she's like dark.
grandmother is black. You are actively using a black
Oh,
woman's
sorry.
blackness against her. It is
No, no.
only black people who will take pictures with their family members and then have the worst assumed by others. Dude, it's unreal. Like this is such a crystal clear example of fucking racism. You look at a fucking picture of
No.
a woman with her grandmom, and then you're like, bad.
Okay.
Something about it is bad. Something about Kamala Harris related to the picture and the way that she presents herself is bad. Dude, if she was white, you'd never say that in a million years. Like that is such a ridiculous argument.
Do you guys know? Okay. Do you guys know about code switching?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I guess I just learned about this code switching. I guess is when you change the way that you talk depending on who you're talking to. I just don't think a politician should do that though. Like I get that if you're trying to go about like, your different ways of life, different friend groups, like that makes sense. But I feel like as a politician, like I don't think you should be running
How
that.
about instead of addressing code switching, you address what causes code switching? What causes code switching, particularly
Racism.
within Black Americans?
Well, why would a politician like I get that, but she's a politician. Like isn't she on like the stage
Oh
to
my
kind of be
God,
herself?
would you stop?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she can't be herself on the stage because of racism. Code switching exists, right? At least in this context, right? Because AAVE, African American Vernacular English, right, is viewed as quote unquote ghetto, quote unquote uneducated, quote unquote bad. It's stigmatized by white people, and it has been forever.
hmm
Like for instance, I'm sure that there is plenty Black people that are in the chat right now that have first-hand experiences of speaking in AAVE around white people in institutions of education and being told that it's improper or it's uneducated or it's wrong, right? So, like, of course, when we have a Black woman running for the goddamn president of our country, where vast majority of Americans are white, and stigmatize, speaking in AAVE with those stereotypes in which I just described, sometimes with intention, sometimes without intention. It's just because that's what they were taught. She has
Anne,
to
thank you for
code
the $10.
switch.
Thank you, Anne.
In order to be a viable candidate, she has to code switch, and that is an unfortunate reality of America today.
But I feel like she code switches more towards like not trying to sound like like good in front, or sorry, I don't know the right words, but not running like I guess the not gonna say this right, so I'm just not gonna say it. I guess like the more like quote unquote like ghetto way of talking. I feel like she runs that more when she is talking to like, well, sorry,
Dude, Dean literally
that's what she
just
called
described.
it.
No, Dean said that was a bad way to refer to it. If you listen to what he said,
You
he
just
said
proved
that
my point.
that's a
I
harmful
slipped up.
and yeah, that's a harmful way. If you actually listened to what he said, you would have realized that he was saying.
I just
But
couldn't
like,
remember the word,
but like
bro.
on a real note, like you just proved my point. Like, yeah, people think that AAV
I
is
don't know
like.
what to call it. That's why.
Thank you for the future encounter.
It's but no, I feel like I feel like Miss Harris uses that more towards like African American people more than she uses it towards white people. I feel like she's trying to display that she's like
Yeah,
quote
because
unquote
because Black people in America don't hold prejudice towards AAV that white people do. No shit. That's like the whole. That's where code switching comes from. You're gonna be switching between two things, right? And you switch, right? And you
Mhm.
and you speak in AAV in front of others that do understand that it's not ghetto or uneducated. It's a point of code switching.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. No, I got you.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. I get what you're trying to say. I just like I don't know. I just feel like even if like you are, I guess in that demographic, I feel like you should
Also, the
just
fact
kind
that
of be
this is your
yourself.
biggest goddamn issue. You're like, Kamala
Whoa,
Harris.
whoa. I think an issue of mine is saying
You're
I
like,
think
Kamala Harris spoke in AAVE. She's a demon. But Donald Trump raped a woman, sexualized
did
a
he
little girl like
actually?
a pedophile. Yeah, and he's held
Yeah,
civilly
he was
liable.
held civilly
Trump
liable
raped the
of
girl?
That's my
Trump
guy.
raped the
he
girl?
was held civilly liable of forcibly penetrating E. Jean Carroll's vagina against her will, unanimously by a jury of 9 people.
Are you serious? Trump?
I'm totally serious.
That's like actually horrible. That's actually horrible to be honest. Wow.
Like, based
Um,
upon that reason itself, people shouldn't support him. And I've told countless people about this. I've been screaming this from the skyscraper tops, like, for a very long time. And people will say, oh, I couldn't possibly support someone who does this. And then literally right after will be like, oh, I'm still voting for him. Or, oh, I still voted for him. Oh, I don't
yeah,
regret voting for him. Did you vote for him?
my whole family told me to, and I honestly I would
Here's
have,
my
but
question.
oh,
Would you have
yeah, go
done,
ahead.
if you could go back in time, would you have changed that?
If I knew that he had raped a woman, um, like, because the thing is that it's a choice between two people. Like, it's not like would I have him like not run? Like, I wouldn't have anybody that has done like that kind of horrible thing. Not, I wouldn't want him to run for the face of the country, to be honest. But it's like it just comes to a point of like which choice is better, like between like you know it
Yeah, and
come
like,
when it comes like
would the
hmm
choice for president that's better be a guy that perpetuates grape culture, right? By degrading women, by creating conditions where, oh, even if you were held civilly liable of sexually abusing a woman, you can still get into this position of power. Do you think that's a new
that's
concept
so
that should be
yeah.
added? That the children of our society are looking up to the president of the United States, and they know that he has done
Yeah.
those types of things. What kind of behavior does that make them think is acceptable? Does that
Has
make them
Joe,
think that good things are acceptable or bad things? Does that
dude,
reinvoke the idea of like what Andrew Tate was perpetuating within the context of our younger generation?
what was Tate saying? I didn't think Tate was like messed up. I think that that's really messed up
Really?
that Trump Drake did that. That's horrible. I don't think that's okay. I don't think people should be looking up to a guy that has done that. It's like the same thing as like, yeah, because you don't have to like say that you did it to be able to promote it and have it as like a quote unquote culture. I feel like so like that I don't mess with. Also, Dean, like I appreciate you, dog, but like using God's name in vain, like I don't really mess with that. I would just prefer if you toned it down to saying like the God damn. Like I just as a man of God. I know you're not religious, but I mean, are you religious? I don't know.
No.
Neither of you guys are religious.
Nope.
Are you guys like the meme where it's like when atheists like don't see a black screen
We
after death? Have you guys seen that?
what'd you say?
It's like when like atheists don't see a black screen after death, and like
Oh,
they're like
I haven't seen that
raging.
meme. What you're
Uh,
not understanding is that even if there was an afterlife, that doesn't mean it's your depiction of the afterlife. The fact that you believe it's your depiction of the afterlife, I think kind of demonstrates like an
well,
issue with
we're not
how
talking
our
about
society.
mine.
Can I ask you
I
a
feel like we're
question?
not. Yeah, go ahead.
Phenomenal. Do you think that people shouldn't support me because I say goddamn like all the time? I'm always like Jesus Christ like all the time.
No, 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 no. I don't think that. I just like I don't really hang out with people that say God damn. So like when I like hear it, I'm just like, yeah, like maybe,
Wait,
you know.
doesn't Oh wait, actually, so like the verse where sorry, like in the Ten Commandments where it talks about saying like don't take the Lord's name in vain, that is actually referring to like false preachers. It's like saying don't take the Lord's name in vain insofar as don't address commandments or beliefs or forms of worship to God, right, in a false nature. So like the whole idea that like it's wrong to say like God dang or like hell,
Mhm.
etc., Jesus Christ, etc. Like that all that just relates to like tradition that's outside of the Bible.
Well, I mean, just like outright, like I'm not gonna call on God or just say His name for like no reason, like just to like for it to have like a good effect on conversation. Like that's not why I call on God. You know what I'm saying? And to just not be like religious. Like I don't know.
Doesn't the Bible say
Maybe I
that
got
all
it
sins are
wrong.
equal apart from blasphemy?
Huh?
Doesn't the Bible say that all sins are equal apart from blasphemy?
Depends on
I
your
feel like that is
definition.
blasphemy in a way. If you're like, yeah, if you're calling on God and you're not even praying, like that is low-key
Uh,
blasphemy.
Oh, okay, Loki. So, but like, so it's worse for me to say goddamn than it is for me to like murder someone.
I mean, no, you're the one that brought that stat up, but I'm just saying that blasphemy, like that low-key is blasphemy.
Okay, but like the Bible says that blasphemy is the worst sin of them all. So it's like worse to say God damn than to like fucking slaughter a
Oh,
family of
hold
five.
on. Blasphemy is a long, like a huge range of shit. But no, I don't think that like saying
Anthony, can I
that.
ask you this? Can I ask you this question? Do you
Yeah,
think
go ahead,
there's
man.
any context in which slaughtering an entire society's worth of infants is justified?
No, not at all. Did that happen in the
No.
Bible? Is that what you're saying?
So 1 Samuel 15:3, God commanded Saul and his men to slaughter the men, women, children, and infants, right, who are Amalekites.
Well,
Not only
that's
that,
religion.
what's up?
Nothing, nothing. Keep talking. I'm sorry.
Not only that, but if do you believe in the flood?
Yeah, I believe in the. No, well,
Dude, that
that's so biblical. That's like you can take that figuratively or literally, but like
oh,
cleansing of the earth and killing
do
everybody
you
on it.
take
Yeah,
it figuratively or literally?
dude, I'm not like super set on that. I read the Bible. I don't know if I should take that. I don't really have that answer. I feel like that's like a
Okay, so if
Um,
that is literal, I just want to let you know that the entailment of that position is that it is morally justified to slaughter every individual on the planet, which includes all infants.
yeah, I feel like I feel like you're right. The only person that could make that call though was God. I feel like, but for anybody else to try to run that, that's no,
But like
that's
what? But like,
ridiculous.
would it be justified for him to do it?
It's God, yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So you think it would be
well, that's a
justified for
part.
God to kill your mother?
Yeah, yeah,
You think it would be
yeah, absolutely.
justified for God to kill your children?
Dude, you're questioning the greatest being that I believe in, literally of all time. Like God is my
Yeah,
my
yeah, but
rock.
like,
That's Jesus
is
Christ,
there
bro. Yeah,
is there any line for what they do? What they're doing is wrong.
they're doing. You're talking about like the entity that created like heaven and earth. Like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that guy could do whatever he wants. To be honest.
Oh, okay. So are you saying that any action God does is morally justified?
So then, why
Well,
doesn't
dude,
God?
it's like
Why won't God just take away free will and make everyone do perfect all the time so babies don't get raped? Because if anything he does is good, like basic. Okay, think about it this way:
Well,
don't try
if
again,
to.
we, if we,
you have to take into account under his view, all things considered, that is good,
oh, okay,
right?
No,
okay.
it's
Like,
So you're
not.
like a
Chill,
silly, yeah.
chill.
So if we had like a well, so this is something that Danny and I used to discuss, especially before my debate with Brooks. If we had like a perfectly effective like chair crushing machine, would there be any chairs in existence?
If
Or
we
would
had a
all chairs
perfectly,
ever be crushed?
dude, that's such a no, no. I think we'd still have chairs,
Then it wouldn't be a
right?
perfectly effective chair crushing machine.
Oh my, yeah. This is a
So like if we had a machine that was
uh
perfectly effective at
in chair crushing.
seeking out chairs and crushing them, we wouldn't have any chairs. Okay? It's
Yeah,
just
you're right. You're
that's a
right. You're right.
descriptive
Yeah,
truth. Yeah.
you're correct. Yeah.
Because if we did have chairs, then it wouldn't be perfectly effective. But
Uh huh.
now, when you tell me that goodness is adjacent to badness, and God is a perfectly good
Hmm.
agent of goodness, and he could do anything, and whatever he does is perfectly good as well, we wouldn't expect any badness to exist. He'd crush it just like that machine would crush chairs,
Right.
right?
That's the whole point of the broken world that we live in, right?
But we wouldn't live in a broken world. We'd live in a perfect world because God can do
no,
whatever the
no,
hell
no,
he
no.
wants,
Well,
and
hold
it's
on.
all
Let me
good.
spit
He
it. Let me
created the
spit.
best world.
Let me spit. Let me spit. No, it's just that this is a broken world that we live in. Just because originally we were supposed to live in harmony with God,
You
I
just said,
believe.
"Oh my God, you mass murderer." You just said, "Oh my God, Anthony,
Did I actually?
you're cooked. You're cooked.
I lucky
You're
I'm
cooked.
correct.
You're
My
worse.
bad. My bad. My bad.
You're
My
going to
bad.
hell. You're worse
I'm gonna
than
be. I'm gonna
Jeffrey
be.
Dahmer."
I'm gonna be holding hands with you on the way down though, so we're good.
You just made wait. You just made a joke. Wait, you just made a joke about damning another
No.
person to hell.
Oh come! I'm making a joke that you
Did
say.
you just make
Are we
a
really
judgment
doing
about
this?
one to a
Do you
place of
know
eternal
what?
damnation? So
Do you know what it is?
not only do you say "Oh my God," but then
Yeah,
you
bro,
follow
you
that
know
up
this, bro?
for a judgment of eternal damnation for a fellow brother. You're so
I like to.
cooked. You're cooked. You're done.
We're brothers
Oh
though.
my God.
Well, I'm.
Wait. You just question our status as brothers in Christ? So you're questioning the commandment and testament of Jesus Christ in the New Testament? Saying we're brothers? So you're questioning the validity of the statements and truths as provided by Jesus Christ in the New Testament of the Bible. Triple fucked. He's cooked. He got banned for hate speech. Of course that idiot got banned for hate speech. He took the Lord's name in vain. Yeah, W TikTok for
yeah,
banning that
dude,
idiot.
God was like, dude, you're doing too much, man.
Yeah, duh. Yeah, no,
I'm not trolling by saying don't say oh my God or goddamn. He literally got more people to say it. So objectively speaking, under his own worldview, him calling it out on the live is unjustified.
yeah, well, I just think that it is so important for us to hold others accountable when they need to be held accountable. And as a Christian, it is so important for me to call out other Christians who aren't fulfilling the commandment and testament of Jesus. Um, so he was exposed for saying, "Oh my God." You can't say, "Oh my God."
Exposed,
You
dude.
cannot take God's name in vain.
You know what I mean? He should get canceled, dude.
You can't say, "Oh my God." You can't say, "What the hell." You can't say Jesus Christ. You cannot say these things.
That was rough. That was rough. What are you doing now?
Well, I am going to go to a dinner date with the girlfriend. Don't know when. I'm gonna text her right now. When are you gonna come over? We are going to go to Olive Garden and get a chicken Alfredo.
Hmm.
And it's
Sounds
gonna be
good.
so
That sounds
good.
good.
It's
Sounds
gonna be
very good. Very
absolutely
good.
gas.
Do you like
And
the
I
bread?
and I
from
can't
Olive
wait.
Garden?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
hyped.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
hyped, baby. Dude,
Uh,
I don't have many date nights with her because she usually works nights.
mhm.
And she's like one night off a week and I'm usually just doing shit. So like this is like the one night where we could both like go on a date or something.
Oh, it's so nice.
Yeah, so we're gonna go to Olive Garden. Okay, we're gonna get 2 chicken Alfredos. Okay, we're gonna get the breadsticks plus the $5.99 marinara dipping sauce, and it's gonna be so good.
People are saying some crazy things. Infinite breadsticks, dude. Seriously,
I can't wait. I
the
can't wait.
breadsticks, so good, so good.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't know what time she's coming over. But I do have more texts up so I could see. We could either do battles until then if you want, or just like do like a
And then
Q&A.
and then if we're done by the time, if we're done early, you can just join me, and because I was gonna go live after, and do either religion or, probably religion actually,
Okay.
so I don't get banned.
Yeah, bro. Honestly, how do you feel about just taking a night to kind of like just hang out for a little bit?
If you want, I'm down to do whatever.
Yeah, honestly, I just don't even really feel like battles tonight. Just want to kind of hang out for a little bit. Unless like unless chat, if you want some fucking battles, we will go on and we will have some fun. But I could totally just see myself just hanging out of it.